Who can it be? Showing up with Tony T, yes, Ramon SEO. To the double TV funnel and these bookies like 1, 2, 3. They tapping out and we cashing out. It's plain to see. The morning scheme is the A-team, Mr. T. And I pity the fools who can't hang. Coming with real game is sort of a freight train. It's been reported bank rolls are easy to maintain. So get situated and listen to the picks. And it goes a little something like this.
There we are, and good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Steam for Monday, January 29th, the day after Conference Championship Sunday. We know the contestants for the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. And, did you have the right matchup? How are we looking on our Super Bowl matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs? We've already seen big line movement in the game. Were the odds makers wrong? Did they think they could get some action one way or the other with those early bets? I mean, the Super Bowl betting, early betting matters. Limits are reasonable, and this line movement certainly is something to discuss, as we have seen it already go from an opener as high as 2.5 down to, but mostly 1. It looks like this morning a 1.5 move on the Super Bowl in favor of the Chiefs to a certain extent. Yeah, it's the Niners that are still favored in the Super Bowl by 1 point, but by now we've seen that big move off of the 2.5, and well, at least for the moment, Patrick Mahomes is an underdog for the third straight playoff game. Hope you guys enjoyed the really good action yesterday of the playoffs. First game, of course, with the Kansas City and Baltimore. Just a great job, certainly, by the Chiefs to get it done. Baltimore didn't look interested to a certain extent. The Chiefs back to the bowl. They're taking on the Niners in that rematch from a few years ago, won by the Chiefs, of course. Niners scored 20 in that one with Jimmy G, and they'll have Brock Purdy this time, and the Niners dominating the second half after falling behind early. Dumb Campbell making crazy decisions again, and he'll stand by it because that's what you do when you just a gambling guy, I guess. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. We got a kind of an interesting day of sports. We got a bunch of NBA, and we've got one NHL game. And now I've selected 3 college games. There's 2 on the big board and 1 that I've seen on the added board that we can look at today. Maybe take your requests. But we're ready to go in the Super Bowl. We got to wait it out. That's all right. One more football game for the season, and we'll just have to make do. Well, we got the flag football game, I guess. And we can talk about NBA from yesterday. Man, it was a really good weekend in the NBA as far as some of the thrills that we saw with some of the big teams, the matchups, and of course, talk about Joel Embiid not wanting to play in Denver. What if they go to the championship against Denver? Anyways, exciting games yesterday. Hawks beat the Raptors with that game-winning basket with 1 second left. All right, let's say hello to some folks. I think we can. Hey, we might even break that over under today and get this one done. Get this one done early. I want to see who's here today for our show. Good morning, everybody. Who was here first? It was Gerardo here first today. Good morning, Gerardo. There's our Discord. We'll have some information in there today from the guys. And uh, from Gerardo, he has us covered in international soccer on a Monday. So we'll see. We already watched a little bit of Asia Cup playoffs, but we got kind of a light schedule today. We're still in action in the African Cup of Nations and a couple other afternoon games. We got one La Liga game, but light night, light day in soccer. Gerardo, good morning. Well, I want to say hello to Ape Sapola. And hello, good morning. Thank you. Justin's here today. He's got his play of the day on the Cavs, on this big card. Cavs hosting the Clippers tonight. Yes, the yellow. Hello, nice to see you. And here's our Tom's good morning. And he's happy. He's got his he spruced up his Niners avatar. Need a Super Bowl one there. Chad's here today. Hello, sir. Great to have you. All right, we might have a show today. Great job on your run. All right. And Jeff here today. Good morning. Hello. And Dre is here, everybody. Oh, got a feel for these Ravens fans, but I think I think Dre and the Ravens fans maybe get a, I don't know I know what the takeaway is. I just am kind of afraid to say it. But man, talk about no sense of urgency to a certain extent, right? Katie's here today. Hello. And who else is strolling in? Gerard Dreyer here today. All right. Perky's here, ready to get it rolling. Was hanging with Perky last night on some of those shows, hanging in the Discord or hanging in the chat. I'm known to be a guy hanging out in chats. So okay, that looks like just a light group here today. Here's Jeff talking about interesting to note, Jeff talking about the missed holding calls. The postseason is just 12 games long, 13 games long, but 12 games so far in the postseason. And holding calls in the postseason, they are nearly 50% less holding calls. It started the day at 60%, but we did see a few yesterday in a row there, it felt like. But holding calls down in the postseason could be, one way to look at it is you have better teams, but they're maybe less apt to hold, or you don't want to hold in the big game, or the refs just swallow the whistles, like being suggested there by Jeff. But whatever the case may be, it must be a combination of the two, because even with the short sample, you would think the percentages would be very, very close, and they're really not. 50% less holding calls in this postseason over the regular season. And Matt here today. Yeah, it's just, disappointing for Detroit. We don't need to debate the not going for field goals or whatever. That's the guy's reputation. He wants to live on the edge like that. So when you win, it's going to look really good, but when you lose, you're going to take the heat. And tough to say. It's tough that even that surface, you saw the Niners field goal kicker, he's probably not that great or whatever. He'll have a long 2 weeks. Salty's here today. And I said that the only guy who maybe had a worse day than Zay Flowers was Michael Strahan. He really muffed up that ceremony at the end of the NFC game. You're supposed to hand the trophy to the presenter, which would be Joe Montana, and then Joe Montana would present and say a word or two presenting the trophy to Jed York. It looks like Michael Strahan just forgot the script or forgot the, plan, what he was supposed to say, and kind of just ad-libbed it, forgot the order or how it's done. And maybe most people didn't notice it, but that's how it's supposed to be. Here, presenting the trophy is Joe Montana to Jed York. Joe Montana says, Mr. York, on behalf of the 49er nation, here's the trophy. And, we didn't get to hear much at all from them. So, all right. Who else is here? Looks like like I said, small crowd today. And maybe that's expected after a real light card. Thomas Lewis, like and smash, doubles here today. And that was one of the better ones, Matt, right? The hand to the face. And he's, I haven't seen that since the longest yard. Solo here today. Percent better here. Thank you for joining us. Ray Otachi here. All right. Dom, hello. He's going to be joining me up in Loser Loft. Dom Campbell. And Perky's not happy with me. What am I forgetting? Am I not talking about something? Let me go back and look and see what Perky's saying here. Oh, good morning. I said good morning. I said Perky's here. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Oh. All right. Any more salutation? Is Curtis is stopping by here today? And that wouldn't make any sense, Perky. Johnny Mac is not. Johnny Mac is ESPN. Timmy Chushu here today as well. All right. We'll go over also to Tony'sPicks.com. We'll do the commercial and see who did well at Tony's Picks for the weekend. And then we'll get started with the show. Like I said, I do have a big NBA card, no doubt about it. But from there, not too much going on today. Light day. All right. Go over to Tony'sPicks.com and take a look at the Handicapper leaderboards over there. Make sure I got it right. Looks like Tiffany Mance on top here with a 7-1 performance, followed by Jerry Lewis, 4-0. Sean Dinwiddie. Let me update this. I don't think this has been quite updated. Let me see here. I think I just had it up from yesterday. Let me let it catch up here, you guys, and just come back here. Oh, Russell's here today. Nice to have you. All right. And let's see what I can do here about Tony's Picks and go over and see who did well yesterday. So thanks for bearing with me here, folks, to get the show started here. All right. Well, we'll just have to go over maybe to the home page and take a look. Let me go back over. Here we go. All right. Here we go. And 1K protection firm stopping by. Jared Bush here today as well. He's got his futures still alive. Okay, this is the Handicapper leaderboard. Tony T. I knew it. Tony T 3-0, including his NFL best bets. And Tiffany Mance 5-2. Sean Dinwiddie 4-2. Perlo Wisdom 2-0. Jerry Lewis up there 2-0-1. Okay, this is a little more current. Mark Butterscotch Eubanks, he's the hottest handicapper over the last 7 days here. 11 units of profit. Collins Brown, nearly 6.5 units. Tony T, up a nickel over the last 7 days. Jerry Lewis is up 400. Benru Hala up 4 units as well. There's Butterscotch last 30 days, averaging a unit a day. That'll take care of it. Gene Got Picks up 26 units over the last 30 days. Nick Lagaretto's up 21 units. Great records by the crew. Probably Sam Murdy, Joseph Schultz up there as well. Going over to picks.com and use the promo code Tony T at checkout. Save 20% off all of our premium pick packages, including mine on Monday. You can click on the All Cappers tab. There you'll find the Handicappers. You can get signed up by using the promo code Tony T at checkout. Save 20% off all premium pick packages. And Jared says, am I pumped? Fernando's here today. Jared's, am I pumped here? I'm trying to see who's going to give me a ticket. I'm not paying $9,000 for the worst seat in Allegiant Stadium. But that's what they said the going rate is. They showed your view. I've been to the bowl. I've been to the bowl before, so not a big deal. It is a big deal. I want to go. Someone wants to take me. I'll sit there in the $9,000 seat. Maybe I can get invited to Tay-Tay's suite, private suite. I think a lot of people are speculating, hey, we got to have some Tay-Tay talk. There's not a lot of games today. And if you don't like it, bear with me. I want to talk a little Tay-Tay. She will be at the Super Bowl. The schedule does work out for her to make the trip and make it back, even though her next phase of her big tour gets started in Japan. There's time. She would actually arrive back 25 hours before the game starts and be able to get back to her tour. Rodney says, don't do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. Don't we? Give her Taylor credit when they showed her on screen yesterday. She basically told them to get the camera off of her. Basically yelled it on the screen. Of course, it was after someone else has scored or something like that. So maybe that's why they were saying it. So who is buying the tickets for this one? Hey, we know the fans. We know the Niner fans can afford it, can't they? All right. Let's go get ready, talk about the games today. I think, unless there's anything else as far as the news of the day is concerned. I mean, look, you guys saw the games. We could give my opinions on them, but you don't need it, right? I mean, the Chiefs just a great job, 17-10. Zay Flowers, the fumble at the 1 yard line, interception in the end zone that occurred as well. The Chiefs have won 5 straight, allowing just 14 points. The job they did in the second half yesterday, really, really stellar. And how about the Chiefs? The second half this season, just monster numbers, really. I mean, this is certainly also something that you should probably consider when it comes to the Super Bowl. When we get there, yeah, we'll see what the line is to begin the game and whatnot. But should be noted that Kansas City in the second half, totally solid under team right now. The Chiefs this season in the second half this season, 18 unders and 2 overs in the second half of Chiefs games this season. Oh my, are we going to be in for a low-scoring second half in the Super Bowl with these teams? We'll see. Jeff says, different game if Flowers scored. That's the toughest play. Interesting, we talked about it on one of the previous shows where there was a controversial, it's kind of looks weird, controversial play, or I wouldn't say controversial. The rule is what it is, right? When you're talking about the NFL touchback, the ball going through the end zone or into the end zone, recovered by the defense. Well, remember, there's going to be discussion that rule is a little bit archaic. I don't think it should be. I mean, the rule is the rule, man. The end zone is a sacred ground. The field is 100 yards in, right? And the end zone is kind of like different from the field of play. Got to get the ball into there, and if you don't have the ball. But wouldn't it have been interesting if maybe the proposed rule by some fans, players, and officials, whatever, would be that the offensive team retains possession of the ball and they just set it back to the 25-yard line. doesn't seem like a great rule, right? Protect the football. But we've seen the touchback probably 3 or 4 times this year, and people always discuss it, and looks like it will actually be up for discussion at this year's meetings, keeping the ball if it goes in the end zone. Now, maybe if it's recovered by the defense, maybe that's another question, but maybe if it rolls through the end zone, through the back or through the corner, in through play, they could get the ball back. Could they really do that? I don't know, but that's what was, kind of being discussed as a future rule change to prevent plays like that. Now, should Flowers be penalized reaching for the goal line like he did? Well, hang on to that ball. That's for sure. I mean, even with the split, even with the regular speed, right? It looks like it was going to be a fumble inside play. So the Chiefs did have some turnovers, no doubt about it. Baltimore had that 30-yard touchdown pass late in the first quarter. That was it. The Chiefs in the playoffs since 2019, 13 wins and 2 losses. Mahomes 14-3 in his playoff career. Lamar Jackson 2-4 in playoff games. All right. And, of course, in the 49ers win over the Lions in the first half, 280 yards, 24 points. They led by 17 points, 24-7, by the way, or as Michael Strahan likes to call it, 17-0 there. So another thing that Michael Strahan got wrong on the stage. But then the Lions went for it on 4th down. And who was saying, oh, but were they even in field goal range? It would have been a 45-yard field goal. That's kind of routine. That would have made it 27 to 10 at the time, and they didn't make the first down. The game swung, the momentum a little bit swung in that. 49ers, 27 points in the second half. Purdy, 267 yards, 315 yards of total offense. McCaffrey, 132 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. Who had the 2 touchdown prop? Niners, when they scored 21 points or more, 13-0 this season. And the Lions, they did get that backdoor cover. Make no mistake, Lions get the money. All right. Let's get over and start the show here and get these games done. Get you guys on your way today. Any more comments before we start? All right. Jared, yeah. Okay, let's just get rolling here with the show and talk about the NBA. And where to start with all these games, all this card today. It's my Clippers on the road against the Cavaliers in this one. And the Clippers are a road favorite today at the Cavs. Maybe it's supposed to be that way at this point with the way the Clippers are playing right now. So hot at this point. In fact, they're up to a 2.5-point favorite in a lot of spots. And this total 225. 225.5. We saw it go all the way up to as high as 228 in early betting, but that didn't last too long, and those got taken out a little bit here. The Clippers on the road, a little bit of reported steam, widely reported steam, did come in on the over in this game at 225. The Clippers, they've won 5 straight. They've covered 5 straight games right now as this roll continues for the Clip Joint. They're 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers over the last several years. Clippers have gone under in 5 of their last 6 games on the road currently. Clippers also won 8 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams. For the Cavaliers, they come in having won 9 of their last 10 currently right now, 27-16. Great matchup here between these two. get your comments as well. Cavs have covered 6 of their last 7 games. They've gone under in 5 of their last 7 games overall. They've won 6 straight at home, beat the Clippers 15 out of the last 20 times here at home. That's 2 decades worth of sample size, however. And total has gone over in 4 of the last 5 games between the two teams overall. That might be something a little bit more realistic to swallow. And let's see what we've got from you guys maybe in this one. Trey does like the under here, Clippers and Cavaliers today. And let's see what else. Oh, Rodney was on the Chiefs early when that line first came out, talking about the Super Bowl. Jared says this one's right on right now. No pick. R. Thompson is on the Clippers. Clippers by 3, says Jared. Seems about right. Fernando's on the Clippers here. And Jared may be on a prop. I think I want to take my Clippers here today as well. I wasn't necessarily sure on the total. I think when you look at these two teams, I would think the perception might be a little bit under, despite what I said about some of those trends currently. I don't think the sharps necessarily know. This one's kind of been moving back and forth a little bit with that swing. So Ray does say he does like the under here in this one. So I think I'm just going to wait on the total. I'm laying off at this point. I'm taking the Clippers here on the road to get it done. So is Fernando today. And let's be real. Let's put the line at least correct. I think 2.5 is realistic here as far as the worst line available. Give you a little bit of room here in this one. Thomas Lewis says under today. Like I said, that's what it feels like in general with these two teams. And Jared says the line's 225. All right. I do see 225 at Bovada. All right. And I'll take the Clippers here. I'll lay 2.5. Oh, wait, I thought I updated the line there. There we go. Clippers, 2.5. And I'll take them. Go Clips! All right, next up. Well, we got another road favorite here with the Knickerbockers on the road. An 8-point favorite today against the Hornets. Can we say 8.5? I see it going up here right now. Total 222 currently. Widely reported steam did come in on the under in this game. Safe to say the Knicks are going up here. It feels like, although FanDuel still hanging at 8 with a little bit of juice currently. And the Knicks obviously going to be favored on the road. You got the news this weekend. We've already talked about it here on the show a little bit about Julius Randle and his injury. Looks like he'll definitely be sidelined here a little bit. Let me take a look at what the official report is. And that one, we didn't really cover much on the other game. We probably should have, but because of the big news in that other game, I just mentioned my guy Evan Mobley is upgraded to questionable today. It's be certainly good to see Evan get back into the fold here with the Cavs, a player who is much needed on the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell probable as well. But here in the Knicks versus the Clippers, the big news is Julius Randle. He's out indefinitely right now with a pretty serious shoulder sprain, I believe, or dislocated out of joint, something like that. LaMelo Ball is questionable for the Hornets. He's had a little bit of a rough time getting back on track here. He's got an ankle sprain in this one. And we'll get maybe some of your picks and comments here with the Knicks. Certainly pretty hot at this point. They've won 6 straight games. They've gone 5-1 against the spread in those 6 games. The Knicks, they've beaten Charlotte in 5 of the last 6 meetings. They've also covered the spread in 4 out of the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Knicks have gone under in 4 of their last 5 games on the road, and also under in 7 of their last 8 games overall. And maybe that's why we've seen a little bit of a push here to the under on in this game. I said 222 though, even though I list 221 on the screen there. Maybe I could update it. There has been a little bit of push back to the over. The Hornets have lost 9 of their last 10 games at home, 17 of their last 20 overall as well. They've got hung with an L. They've lost 3 straight, failing to cover the spread against teams like Detroit, Houston, and Utah, the latter 2 at home. Charlotte's gone over in 5 of their last 7 games. Hornets just 2-10 against the spread in their last 12 games overall. Knicks not only winning but covering at this point. And pretty big number, and pretty big number and growing. It feels like at this point. Let's update it at least to 8.5, because I think I do like the Knickerbockers here. I'll lay some more points on the road. We did it all last week, it felt like. All right, let's see what we got here in this one. Here's Dre on the Knicks. Here's Ray. Team total under. And a total under here for Jared as well. Might be just a matter of the way I'm going to just take the Knicks as my play. Maybe I prefer the under, but maybe I just have to keep it to myself. And Thomas says these home dogs are attractive right now, and I can't seem to find my way on any of them. Jared says Jalen Brunson for a big game tonight. Thought Brunson had, I don't think he's on the injury list, but I did see a little bit of talk about it, like maybe just some notes on like I said, not necessarily a full-blown injury, but still on a report, possibly. No, that's not necessarily the case. Nope, just the ones that I mentioned, pretty much. All right. Anything else? Mobley, yeah, Mobley back. It looks like tonight, possibly. I think he's listed as. What did I say? I just said it, right? I know we're talking about this game, but let me get it right for my guy, Evan Mobley. Questionable. So I don't think that totally indicates that Mobley is 100% to return. Hey, Jared, thank you for your contribution on this college card. We need some picks here today. I'm going to go over the 2 big games. The one game the one added board. Can you guys guess which game I've selected on the added board today before we get there? If you're interested in something like that, play a little game on a Monday. We know the added board. You got SWAC, MEAC teams in there today for the most part. Yeah, some Northeast as well. But what's the best game, you guys? I'm asking you. I think I know what it is. I'm just based on the standings in the conferences. I picked one game of those added board games. You guys can maybe guess it. I don't know. All right, Chad says this game's a tarp. Stay away. I'll take the Knicks. I'm not staying away. I play Chad. Come on, I'm playing every game here. All right. Okay, great. It might be talking about Mobley there. And okay, so I'll take the Knicks. Let's move on to the next one. And it's the Suns and the Heat. Well, 2 teams are made for one another. Suns and the Heat. The Heat, wait a minute. The Heat are favored? Is it a typo? Help. What's going on here? Have they not been watching what's been going on with the Miami Heat? the worst team in basketball? What is wrong with the Miami Heat? Well, they're favored in this one, so maybe that tells you everything you need to know in this game. Maybe this is the day where the Miami Heat gets back on track here a little bit. Phoenix Suns are red hot, so I don't know what odds makers, sharps, bookmakers, who's making the call on this? This is the NBA TV game of the night here in this one. And well, the action started to come in early on the Heat, drive to as high as 4.5. But we've seen some buyback here with the Suns. I mean, I don't want the Heat the way things are going at this point and the way the Suns are clicking. Now, the Suns have lost 2 in a row. Let's be fair. They lost road games against decent teams, Indiana and Orlando, maybe kind of right in the same realm. Yeah, the Suns are supposed to be better, expected to be better, I think, than those two teams. I don't know if we can put them much better than those teams just yet. We make fun of the Heat for their big losing streak right now. It just seems like they can't get out of their own way at this point. Not only are they not winning, but they're not even covering in the games where they're underdogs. They were underdogs to the Knicks a couple of nights ago, lost by 16 points. We had a premium on the Knicks. They lost to the Celtics by 30 points as an 8.5-point dog. They lost as a 1-point dog to Orlando. Doesn't matter right now. They can't get out of their own way. The Heat, total disaster. Suns were on a pretty good streak until these last 2 road games. Maybe the road does catch up with them here. Look, odds makers usually aren't wrong about a situation like this, right? Making a favorite out of a team that's lost a bunch of games in a row against a Phoenix team that I think the storyline would be, despite these 2 losses, that they've kind of put it together with their current lineup. Now, interesting to note, we did have Bradley Beal, injured again recently and missed some games, missed a game or missed some time in the game. Let me see what his numbers were. Did he get off the bench and did he get into that game? I don't think he did, actually, but he's not on the injured report today, so I think we're expecting Beal. Could have been a little bit of both. Could have been a little bit of soreness, a little bit of rest when you're coming off an injury like that. So for Beal, he had just 35 minutes in the last game. Yeah, maybe he hasn't performed that well in the last 2 games since his return. You think about it, and the absence that he had, the 17 games. Remember, he came back for a couple games and had to go back out, but now he's been back for a good 14 games or so, I think. 9 points in the last game and 12 points in the game before that. Really his 2 worst performances pretty much since kind of returning. He's had some similar efforts, I guess, is the way to look at it. The Suns still 16-3-1 against the spread in their last 20 games, but they've won 7 of their last 9. They had a 7-game winning streak before losing those last 2 games. Phoenix 6-2 against the spread. Their last 8 games against Miami. They have lost, however, 13 of the last 20 over the last 10 years or so against the Heat. Phoenix has gone under in 8 of their last 12 games on the road and 6 of their last 7 overall. They're also 5-7 to the under as an underdog. For the Heat, well, they've lost all these games in a row. As I said, it's 6 straight currently. They failed to cover the spread in all of them. They've gone under in 7 of their last 9 games, including 4 of their last 5 games at home have gone under. Miami's failed to cover the spread in 5 straight times. The Phoenix Suns have come into Miami to play. Phoenix has taken the money, and 5 of the last 7 meetings between the 2 teams have gone under. Looks like you guys have some comments on this interesting game. Justin with Holy Cross, taking Holy Cross in there today. And Jared, I would know that getting some. Hey, 2112 is here. He said maybe was it the Alcorn? I think he was maybe playing the game that I said about the game that I would preview I didn't choose the Alcorn game, but that certainly was one of the considerations. But let's keep it going. Corpus Christi, says Johnny Walker. Could that be the one? And Dre on the Suns here. Careful, you guys. Maybe they are making picks in there. 21-12. It's great to have 21-12 making picks on some of these games if that's the case. I didn't mean to confuse anybody by saying guess which game I'm previewing. All right. MO is here. Hello, MO. What is that avatar? It looks like a beautiful field. No, it's a car. Is that? Hey, that's not Slab, is it? Are you riding on Slab, MO? Razor here today. Speaking of riding on Slab, Rich Stubbs says Heat and under. Here's Ray Otachi says under. Thomas Lewis rolling with the Pontiac Bonneville identification of the car. Sweet. And Jared says Booker to have a big one tonight. And Johnny Walker, he's got it right. Johnny Walker got it right. NC Central game is the one we'll preview. Maybe another one. And Doubles talking about the Suns. All right. Thomas Lewis on the under in this one. And I think that's it. Maybe for your comments on this game with the Suns and the Heat. I guess I got to make a call here on this one. And look, I just kind of like the way the actions kind of come back here on the Suns. We're getting points with the Suns. They've lost 2 in a row. They're obviously playing a little bit better of late, a lot better of late. The Heat, the odds makers would tell you this is the one. The Heat going to get off here and get off this losing streak and get this win. I mean, it really does seem hard to fathom that they would be a favorite at this point, given the slide that they're on. They really, it doesn't look, it's not a situation where we could say, well, there's hope. They played well in this game. They didn't play well in any of these games, quite frankly. They have looked as bad as they looked. And right after Spoelstra signed a big contract. So I'll go against the Sharp. Maybe they know this is probably the one. You got a losing streak. You got a Heat, probably still a good team here. And I'll go ahead and take the Suns plus the points. All right. All right, let's go with another decent one here with the Pelicans. Taking on the Celtics in this one in Boston, and Boston's favored here by 8.5. The total 234.5. Boston. What can you say right now? They continue to look like a champion at this point with their run. They did lose last time out, no doubt, to the Clippers. The Clippers took care of business in that one, but Clippers certainly, championship contender in the West. Not going to hold them at fault too much for that one, despite a 20-point loss. Wasn't a high profile. Remember, we talked about the kind of the triple header on TV on Saturday with the NBA, and this one wasn't one of them. Now, not saying that it doesn't make the matchup any less attractive, but it did kind of sneak under the radar a little bit when you had those other nationally televised games, including the Sixers in Denver and the exciting Lakers game that night. So no big deal. Celtics ended up getting crushed by the red-hot Clippers. And now they take on a Pelicans team that have lost 2 straight to some decent teams in the Thunder and the Bucks. They also lost recently to Phoenix. They were able to clobber Utah as New Orleans continues to look pretty good with a 26-20 record overall. Look, Boston still pretty great, 13-9 against the spread at home. They still can get numbers. Maybe they're not covering at the same rate they were early in the season, but that's just something probably comes with the territory as being a big favorite. Still got a positive number at home against the spread. For New Orleans, they have lost 4 of their last 6 games overall. They also beat Charlotte recently in that stretch. New Orleans has lost 4 of the last 5 games against the Celtics. They failed to cover in those 4 games as well. New Orleans has gone over in 4 of their last 5 games on the road. Boston's gone under in 7 of their last 10 games. Overall, Boston also under in 6 of their last 7. They've won 15 of their last 20 games, 18 of their last 20 games at home. For Boston here, this one, the movement has kind of come in. There was some widely reported steam that came in on the over in this game, and that was way back, I believe, at 232. I want to say 233. And right now it's sitting at 234-ish. Yeah, 234 and 8.5 for the most part everywhere. What do you guys got going on here between the Pelicans in town to take on the Celtics? Well, I was looking at the over, but man, there's been some sharp action coming back on the under that certainly has me a little bit concerned right away. But still, I think I'm going to end up preferring the over in this one with Pelicans and Celtics. A pretty high number here at 234, but I'm going to respect the steam a little bit. Give me the over tonight in the Pelicans and the Celtics. I'm just not sure I can ride with the side at this point. I tell you this, the sharps are mostly on the Pelicans here, but doesn't look that sharp, quite frankly. And Celtics, yeah, maybe they have trouble getting some of these numbers. See if we get comments from you guys on the Celtics game. I need some help on this one, it looks like. And Biggie is here today. Hello. Trey leaning to the over in this one. And Rich says, give me Boston in the over. And Thomas says, Celtics win, Pels get the money. And Jeff says, you got to consider, Ramon, just don't forget, check the injuries. All right, I will. It hasn't affected too much of the line, but do know KP missed that last game, and will he be out today? Big Al also questionable in this one. And Luke Cornett doubtful as well, kind of more help on the front line. So maybe a little bit of factor there as well tonight with Boston missing some of their two centers, basically. That would put them a little bit up against it, certainly. Let's see what the lineup could look like tonight. Maybe without those guys. I mean, yeah, not the best matchups. Also, because of New Orleans, they played some decent defense. All right, Jeff says, "Who's on Zion? Is it Tatum?" Yeah, that's just a good defensive matchup between these two teams. Say what you will about Tatum, the guy probably pretty strong defensively. At least the way I watch the games. You guys. All right, Ray on the under. Oh, Ray's on the under. Oh, no. Fernando might lean Pelicans. You guys are on the under here. Oh, boy. Well, sounds like we're in a disagreement. I'll take the over. Should have went to the chat first, I guess. All right, Jared says an under as well. All right. Oh, well. Let's continue on now with the Jazz taking on the Nets in this one. Two teams certainly going a little bit opposite directions at this point. With the Nets, though, going to be favored apparently at home right now by a point. Showing it down to a pick 'em. I even show a couple places have the Jazz now favored. So looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit of shift here to the Jazz. Certainly the team playing a little bit better right now. obviously have the better record at this point. The Jazz have cracked the 500 mark. They're 24-23. And, of course, the Nets are back at 18-27 now, just 40%. Curtis says, what did I take in the Suns game? I took the Suns. R. Thompson's on the Jazz in this one. Let's get to some of the numbers here with these two. Maybe sneak a peek at the injury report. Total here, though, we've already seen it go up here to 236 right now. Maybe 235.5, but the widely reported steam has come in on the Nets and the over in this game. And for the Brooklyn Nets coming into this one, well, right now, certainly they're on a little bit of a downturn. They did win their last game against Houston, 106-104. They didn't cover the spread in that one, and before that, they did lose 3 straight games. Brooklyn's lost 12 of their last 15 games overall. They've been going under quite a bit, gone under in 6 of their last 8 games, and under in 4 of their last 5 at home. 6 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under. The teams meet just twice a year, but they did already meet in their first matchup of the season. It stayed under all right by a half a point. Utah got the win at home, 125-108 as a 3.5 point dog back in mid-December. It was a little bit different of a Utah team at that time. Now Utah's won 14 of their last 19 games overall. They've gone 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games. Utah has gone over in 4 of their last 5 games. They're more perceived as an over team compared to Brooklyn, although Brooklyn 12-11 to the over at home, a team that goes under more often on the road. Utah's 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games on the road. And they've won 13 of the last 19 meetings between these two teams over the last decade. Here, also 13-6 against the spread against Brooklyn, 6-3 ATS when coming into Brooklyn over the last decade. If you care, get comments from you here. Thomas says Utah Jazz. Rich Stubbs, Jazz and over. And Dre is on the Jazz. R. Tomps is on the Jazz. Everybody's on the Jazz in this one. Even the steam. All right, well, maybe I have to make the call in this one. I wanted to go over in this game, and man, it's way up there now, 236. Oh boy. But I feel like it's still going to be an over game. Jeff says under. Okay, Ray's on the over with me, but Jeff's on the under. There were some nice under moves early, but man, it just seems like it's mostly over from the Sharps currently, and I want to side with the Sharps in a game like this. Now, I will say this, they appear to be mostly on Brooklyn here, especially later in the betting cycle so far. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, the game's already back to a pick'em, and the Jazz -1. You would think the Jazz, with their penchant for covering right now, and the Nets not looking good, who'd be on them? But Nets are good for 100 or so. And that should help the over. Sounds like Timmy's got Utah winning this one by 30 or 35 points. Is that what I read it right, Timmy? All right. I'll go ahead and take the over in this one with the Jazz and the Nets. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the Wizards and the Spurs in this one, with the Spurs a 4-point favorite here and the total at 240. Well, They all can't be great, as we say here, but one thing I've said several times over the last couple of days, because we've seen these bad matchups, doesn't it seem like the Wizards, the Spurs, the Hornets, and the Pistons, they're like in a tournament, it feels like right now. Maybe they could have their own in-season tournament for teams that are not going anywhere. And what happens, it feels like, in these games, when the teams aren't good, we know that, but they're not good for a reason, right? They're not very good scoring teams. Yeah, they're not good defensively, but teams that are not good defensively are going to give up a lot of points to teams that are pretty good offensively, teams that are playoff contenders, teams that are decent. When they're playing other bad teams, it doesn't feel like it ever goes over. Look, the Wizards just played the Pistons two nights ago, right? It was the total was 240. This was Wizards at Detroit. I'd say it's a pretty similar situation to this, and it was 222 points in that one. San Antonio, they kind of had the same thing, right? They were in a game against recently Portland, and that one was like a 230 total, and it went 215. Now, they did play Washington earlier, just about a week ago, 9 days ago. These two teams met in Washington. The total was 241, and it went for 258 points. So that's something you'll have to consider here, but I don't know if I can go over with these two right now. I just feel like the bad teams don't score enough, even though against one another here they did. I'm probably going to be on the under. I don't think I even have a choice on the side here. I think the Sharps probably prefer the Wizards by about a 2-to-1 ratio, but a little harder to tell in a bad matchup. All right, maybe we get some of your comments here on this game. We won't spend too much time on this one. Hey, I want to say hello to Luis Blanco, who came in today. Hello, Luis. Nice to have you. I don't know where Thomas is shopping. He meant to say San Antonio Spurs. We know Thomas's phone. I think it's a deep fake AI phone, because all of a sudden the San Antonio Spurs have been moved. The NBA have moved them apparently to Wyoming and put on a sounds like something would be in the Chinese basketball league, right? The Cheyenne Toyota Spurs. Maybe they're going to start naming teams like that, right? You'll have a city and then a sponsor in the name. I'm not making fun of Thomas. That's just funny. The Cheyenne Toyota Spurs taking on the what else? I could come up with some things. There's under for Fernando. Talking about the Spurs, as Thomas says, they'll get their winning streak tonight. They won 2 in a row. They beat Minnesota and Portland. The Spurs, not only let's be serious about the Spurs here for a minute. They actually are kind of hot. They're real hot, actually, of late, considering where they've been. Under for Thomas here. And look, the Spurs, I'm not kidding. I mean, they're quite hot. Now, granted, the 2 games that they lost here kind of interfered with things, but San Antonio has been doing pretty well here in this little streak of late. They've won 7 of their last, or covered 7 of their last 10 overall, 5 of their last 6. They are, 6-14 in their last 20, but we're not going to go there. We're going to talk about how they've been covering numbers of late. 5 of their last 6, 4 of their last 5 at home. 12 of the last 16 meetings between these two teams have gone over. San Antonio's also gone over in 4 of their last 6 games. Should be noted, though, that even though these two teams play just twice a year, and the San Antonio Spurs have been pretty good over the last 20 years, right? We'll say this. San Antonio has defeated the Wizards. They play just once a year in San Antonio. They've defeated them 19 out of the last 20 times. San Antonio 19-1 against Washington straight up over the last 2 decades. Now, I know that kind of a little bit of hard sample size to swallow for a lot of folks. I don't even know if I want to use it too much, but that is pretty significant. Washington for Rich here. Ray says, give me the Spurs and the under. Washington's gone under in 5 of their last 6. They've lost 6 of their last 7. 2-5 against the spread against the Spurs during that kind of run here. That's overall. Washington, they've won a few games at home against them. Mentioned the 1-20 record, but they are 4-12 straight up in the last 18 meetings. So Washington's gone under in 5 straight games on the road. And I'm going under in this one tonight at 240-ish. Is that right now? Down to 240? Yeah, I'd say 240 for the most part. Let's go under Wizards and Spurs. Yep, Wemby, right? There's a plan for Wemby, it feels like. All right, let's continue on here next with the Lakers and the Rockets here. Lakers, maybe they can feel a little bit rejuvenated with their streak. We still, we've got issues with the 2 stars and now Anthony Davis. What ails you next, AD? I mentioned on last night's show, yesterday afternoon. When am I on again? Mentioned on yesterday morning's show about, as we were reviewing the Laker game from the night before, about the Lakers and the stars around the league playing in more games currently, including LeBron. LeBron coming off, mind you now, we'll see what the status of these two. Now, they've had a day off, but LeBron did play, believe it or not, career high for the man who's been playing, 23 years or whatever it is now. He just played a career high in minutes in his last game. It was an overtime game, we know. He played 48 minutes. Never LeBron played in more minutes in a game. But AD now, his injury, I mentioned that even AD was playing in many more games. It's proven that the rules are kind of working, even though we don't always know exactly when the star players might be out. Remember, we didn't even get the word with Embiid in the Denver game until kind of late. And why wouldn't he? Why would he have played in that game given his history? But we're not getting the best info. But still, players are playing more. Whether or not Davis, who left last game, he was actually knocked out partially from that overtime game. So maybe a questionable status, a little bit more serious with an Achilles injury for Davis. That's something you have to be a little bit careful with. All right. Lakers coming in here against the Rockets are actually gained favoritism in this one. The widely reported steam did come in on the under. The Lakers have a 2-game winning streak, and they played pretty well in both games, certainly beating Chicago and beating Golden State in that thriller, or the double overtime thriller. On the road, the Lakers have won 5 of their last 7. They've beat Houston in 14 of the last 17 meetings. We know Houston hasn't been good, but the Lakers haven't. They've been kind of mediocre, so they've still kind of held the edge here over Houston. Remember, these are semi-frequent opponents. They play more than a few times each season. Lakers continuing to play either no defense or really good offense. You tell me. 14 of the last 15 road games for the Lakers have gone over. They're now 16-6 on the road to the over so far this season. Lakers, they've also gone over in 5 straight. 7 of the last 10 meetings here in Houston between these two teams have gone under, but right now Houston's gone over in 6 of their last 9 games at home. They have lost 3 of 4 games, but covered 3 of their last 4. They did lose and fail as a 10-point favorite at home against Portland, but they covered in losses against Boston and Brooklyn, and they also beat up on the Hornets. Houston's gone 2-6 in their last 8, 3-8 against the spread in their last 11. So, it's been a little bit of this and a little bit of that. How about the Lakers tonight, everybody? And let's see. How about Rich wants the under? Dre's leaning to the Rockets. Ray says Rockets money line. And Fernando says the Rockets might get this one. Says the Lakers last 2 meetings, Lakers won them both. Yeah, they won both at home, but here in Houston, the teams met back on November 8th. Houston won by 34 points as a 2-point dog. So home teams have won all 3 meetings so far this season. Jeff says he wants to fade them tonight. I do too. Think I do. All right. Let's take a look what you guys want to do with this one. I want the Houston Rockets tonight at home against the Lakers. That's my play. Give me the Rockets tonight. Thomas, we're on the opposite. All right, let's continue on. Timberwolves and Thunder. Here in this one with the Thunder favorite at home. This is a good game, isn't it? These teams have identical records of 32-14. Who saw this coming? Now, we know these teams were improved, but really I think that kind of says it. These teams have really elevated this year and are, certainly contenders in the West. The funny thing is, right, the Timberwolves, maybe with their great start to the season, their team record-setting start to the season, they're still in a record-setting mode with this franchise. But the Thunder, as good as they've been to bettors, they really haven't been an overwhelming team as far as, playoff contention or anything like that. So this is really awesome for them. In fact, it's totally reflected. We already know the Thunder is like money, right? Thunder equals money. 30-15 against the spread, 16-6 against the spread at home. Minnesota, for all their success, not necessarily great right now to the number. They just lost, remember, to the Spurs on the road, 113-112 in a shocker. And they did beat some bad teams before that in Brooklyn and Washington. They lost to Charlotte. These 2 teams just met at Minnesota 9 days ago. Was 102-97, a low-scoring game. Steam already came in on the under in this one. I'm not sure I'm totally down with it, though. Still kind of a big number, has me worried. Oklahoma State has won 7 straight games at home right now. They've won 5 of their last 6 overall. Their loss was last game to Detroit, 120-104 on the road. Detroit did a great job yesterday in that one. So Thunder on the road, now at home, facing a really good team with no rest. Under for OKC in 4 of the last 5 meetings against Minnesota, and they've covered just 1 of the last 5 meetings here at home against Minnesota over the last couple of seasons. For Minnesota, they are 6-3 straight up in their last 9 games. They've gone under in 5 of their last 7 on the road, 4 of their last 5 overall. They've been playing mostly road games here of late. Minnesota also 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. So let's call it 2.5 and 224-ish. I would say right now is the current line between these two teams. But, man, I know that the Sharps want to go under here. I get it, but, man, I'm really tempted to go over in this game with these two. I just don't have necessarily the numbers or the stats to prove it. I'm really going to go on the eye test if indeed that's what I do here. Let's see what you guys. Anything in this one? Here's Mo wants the Wolves on the money line. Dre's on the Thunder. And Jeff says OKC bouncing back. Oh, that was that last game. So. Oh, no, there it is. Where's it? Oh, there it is. OKC bounces back at home. And Rich says, Timberwolves and over. I'm going to go over. And I'll be the guy. If I lose this, I'll say, you know what? Listen, I'm always the one. Listen to the Sharps. Pay attention to the moves. That is my game in sports betting. But I'm throwing it all out the window in this one. I've just got this as two good teams. Yes, they play very good defense. I think I'm going to go it over. I think I'm maybe finesse a sneak over. That's the way it's got to be. It's not some, it'd be a premium if I thought there'd be 230 points scored in this game. But I got to draw the line somewhere. And maybe I like the side. As a premium, so I can't give it out here on the air. I could. All right, a couple more here. Kings and Grizzlies tonight. Wow, good one here with Kings on the road. Big favorite. Grizzlies trying to figure it out. How are we going to move forward at this point, given our situation? Hasn't been terrible, man. The Grizzlies have really found something. I think give credit to their players and coaching staff for being able to do this. I mean, you basically have right now 8 frontline guys. Feels like 80 or top 10 players for this season. Out for the Grizzlies. So it's not, just a sidebar or a note. I mean, there are probably 8 players that see significant time not playing at all. And they just continue to get numbers right now. It's pretty impressive what they're doing right now. Now, Sacramento's hot too, no doubt about it. The Grizzlies are off a loss. They lost to Indiana 116 to 110 last night on the road. Now you got to come home here and play. So that's got to be taken into consideration here a little bit. But I still kind of want them getting the points. They seem to be fighting hard now. Sacramento's hot. They've won 3 in a row. They beat Dallas and covered by 1 a couple of nights ago. They also beat the Warriors. That was a push, actually, and they beat up on Atlanta as part of their good run right now. But I don't know if there's anything that even the trends could tell me to get me off of this one. I'm pretty much feel like I'm going to like the Grizzlies here, despite some pretty bad numbers against the spread. 6-14 against the spread at home. Sacramento 14-7 against the spread on the road. So a really good spot for Sacramento, given their how well they've played on the road, but I'm going to end up on Memphis here. Now, these two teams are pretty solid to the under this season. I would think this one is going to be a low-scoring game. Sacramento 7-15 to the under on the road, and the Grizzlies are 6-14 to the under at home. The Grizzlies here having gone under in 5 straight games against the Kings. Memphis has also gone under in 6 of the last 7 games between these two teams here in Memphis. Memphis has covered 4 of their last 5. They've covered 4 straight, actually, I think is what I should say. So they covered that game against Indiana. All right, Sacramento's gone 7-2 against the spread. Their last 9 games on the road. Can't deny how decent these guys are doing right now. Again, and 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 overall. They have lost 8 of the last 11 meetings against Memphis. Could argue that it was a different Memphis, obviously, at this point. Also, 6 of the last 7 meetings here have gone under. So not only solid under teams overall, but teams that go under when they play each other.
System play.
And Jeff says, it might be a little bit too high. And Fernando not quite making it there yet with the Grizzlies. Thomas will take the Grizzlies. And I'm going to take the Grizzlies. What did I say? No, I'm taking the under. Under is the play for me. You guys take the Grizzlies for now. I'm sorry. I'm on the Grizzlies. Okay, sorry about that. Not on the under just yet. And I didn't give away. Usually I'll hint at it and say, oh, maybe I'm saving it for. I'm not sure that's going to be a premium yet. So give me the Grizzlies. Let's just make it for sure. I'll take them. Get bit by the home dogs. Magic and Mavs here tonight. Magic on the good game. Make no mistake. Mavericks here favored by 4 now. This one was as high as I want to say 6. So Magic getting attention here. Total in this one 228.5 or so. The Mavericks favored. But yeah, I mean, definitely saw some 6s in play last night, but quickly Orlando gets bought up by the Sharps here. Feels like the right side at this point, but that total is what stands out to me at 229 right there. I think that might be the direction. I kind of like it as a premium, quite frankly. Maybe I might have to be on Orlando here in this one. Let's take a look at some of the numbers between these two and get your opinions as well. You can always change my mind in the chat. No challenges here today, it looks like. Kings and under. That was the last game there. But let me get rolling here with Orlando and Dallas. Orlando coming off a win against Phoenix, 113-98. They did cover the spread in that one, but before that, a couple of losses have been pretty inconsistent here of late. But still a good record, no doubt about it. Dallas for Orlando, 24-22. I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe they're not exceeding their own expectations, but maybe they're fulfilling the reasonable expectations. Dallas, meanwhile, though, really having some problems. They just came off that loss to Sacramento at home as a 4-point. Remember, they were a dog in that one, so there was some personnel going on. We know that. They did beat Atlanta on the road, but we're losing games before that. Now, this is not a good place for the Orlando Magic, and if anything, they're kind of still the same Magic, right? Yeah, they have a little bit more talent now. They're improving, but when coming to Dallas, over the last decade, they've never won. They haven't won here in 11 tries. 0-11 at Dallas. They come here once a year, and they've lost 11 straight times to the Dallas Mavericks. And Dallas just a 4-point favorite here. Dallas just 13-12, though, at home straight up. Dallas has gone 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games, 1-4 against the spread in those last 5 games. Dallas has gone under in 6 of their last 8 at home and 4 of their last 5 games. Overall, both teams are 3-7 to the under in their last 10 games. So what can you do? What can you do with this one? Well, I think Probably going to just take Orlando plus these points. Can't get much as far as value here is concerned. I think the value is kind of gone out the window. Yeah, I want to check it out with Kyrie. He's out for Jeff for sure in this one. I don't know if that's been the current effect on the line. I think we knew pretty much for last day or so. Maybe some of these other injuries for Dallas, guys like Exum still having trouble with that knee. Dwight Powell's out with an eye injury. For Orlando, Fultz is probable to rest here. It looks like today. Gary Harris is out again. So I just feel like I'm going to like this total too much. I'll just say it. I think the total, let's get it on the screen here. 229. I think it's actually a little bit lower, but I'll leave it at 229. And maybe if that's any indication, want to just go back and mention here real quick, Sacramento's taking some big time action here on that last game we talked about. Pretty much nines all over right now on Sacramento. We said take Memphis. You can grade me at 8 or 8.5, whatever I said. But if you like Sacramento, try to hit them now. Before they get to that 9, you probably already missed the boat. But it looks like Sacramento is getting hit right now. Anyways, continuing back on with this one. Orlando here in Dallas. And, well, I'll just take Orlando plus the points, maybe because I like this total a little bit too strong to give out. I'm not totally convinced here on the Magic. Hello, Jose. Hello. No, Thomas, we're on the other side, though, in that one. I liked the Grizzlies, and it's moving towards Sac. Dre says, give me the Magic. All right, I'm on with Dre. All right, just a couple more here, and we'll get to some college, and we're almost done with the show here. And we've still been here an hour and 20, and I'm kind of slow. I'm talking slower today, maybe because I know that we're not as pressed, but maybe I'm tired, and I got the full complement night like tonight. I mean, I didn't even get up until 90 minutes before the show with this card. Got the full complement. Maybe because maybe I didn't sweep the NFL. I was mad. Anyways, you guys know what I was on. I was on the favorites. I went 0-2 with the picks and 1-1 in the premiums on the totals. I had under in both games. All right, Bucks and Nugs. Those Nuggies in this one. You got the Bucks here, a dog on the road. High-profile matchup here between championship contenders. The Bucks still 32-14. We saw them yesterday. Yesterday the other night in action against the Pelicans. The Bucks won 141-117 easily. Getting the money in that one against the Pels. And for the Nuggets, they come in also pretty hot. They beat the Sixers, of course, at home without Embiid as a 13-point favorite. Didn't get the money in that one at all. But still, here with these two teams coming to the total, what's this, 239-ish? Widely reported steam came on the under. How low is it now? I don't think it's 239, is it? Yeah, 239 for the most part, showing 238.5 at Bovada. This one appears to be moving down, and that's the way that I would look right now with Denver at home, right? You do have the contrast of Milwaukee. They go over quite a bit, 28-18 to the over. But note, 11-9 to the over on the road. Now, that doesn't necessarily indicate, an under team, but again, playing against a Denver team that, they're definitely an under team. 17-29 to the under, 9-13 to the under at home. And, it doesn't always to say that the home team dictates the pace. We know that that's just not a fact. There are other factors that go into it, and sometimes you don't know. Hey, Carrie Davis is here today. Wow. Hello, Carrie. Nice to have you. Wow. Great. Let me take a look. Looking good there in the avatar. I cannot rock a pair of white pants like that anymore, sir. I'll tell you that. Appreciate having you, Carrie. And let's see here. Mike's on the Bucks. And Thomas says he's got the Nuggets. They're ready to explode here. Well, and they're hot. I mean, they're not cold. At this point, that's for sure, right? Denver's won 4 out of their last 5 of their last 6 at home. Maybe the perception is Denver might not be playing well. They're 1-5-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. They have gone under in 5 straight games. 7 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone over here in Denver, but that's 10 years of sample size. Milwaukee's covered just 3 of their last 11 over, or 3 of their last 14 over. They're 3-11 against the spread in their last 14 games. Here, 1-4 against the spread last 5 meetings against Denver. Denver's won 13 of the last 20 games between the two teams. Bucks have won 4 of their last 6, but 0-6 against the spread their last 6 road games. No covers, 6 straight games on the road. Denver and the under here for Jeff. I don't know if I can. These numbers for the Bucks are spread wise are pretty bad, but the Sharps are kind of split on this one and kind of want to take the Bucks. Now I do want to see what happens here. There might be some injury information with Giannis. He is probable, but he is on the injured list with illness. So Middleton probable in this one. I'll just take the under here as my pick. Really like the under here. Feels like a premium. Give me the under. One more in the NBA. Here we go. Philly and Portland. All right. Apparently, Joel Embiid, he likes playing in Portland. He likes the city of roses. Doesn't make him nauseous. He loves playing against them. I don't know. I'm just looking for excuses now why it's been talked about that Embiid will not play. Look, he played against Jokic in the game at home, but just didn't play on the road games. What can you do? Like I said, I think it is basically, they've said maybe a little bit of a medical condition. All right, we're on the road here against the Portland Trailblazers. That's a different story. All right, let me call it up here, take a look at the latest line and see, because this one was a 9 and now it's up to 9.5 or even 10. I'm seeing 10 at some places in this one. So 10 and down to 223. Wow, okay. So pretty significant move here. Philly and under today. Well, I think I like that totals move, but not necessarily widely reported, Steam, just gradual move here, it looks like, from the Sharps on these two positions. Philadelphia's won 6 of their last 8 games overall. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings with the Portland Trailblazers. Sixers, though, just 2-4 against the spread on the road. This is the NBA TV game tonight. Philly's gone over in 5 of their last 7. For the Blazers, they've gone under in 8 of their last 11, although 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Got a contrast here. Portland is pretty much an under team, 20-26 to the under this season, 8-12 to the under at home. Sixers, opposite. 13-8 to the over on the road. They're also 21-11 to the over as a favorite. Portland 18-24 to the under as an underdog. In Portland, these are, I don't put that much into the versus the other conference, but I think these are the type where you actually could consider it a little bit or weigh it in. Portland, 11 of the last 12 against Eastern Conference teams under. These are probably the only instances where I kind of use those, not even wins and losses necessarily, totals and big sample size against the other conference. Short sample size doesn't work for me on that one. Need at least 10 a dozen games. It has to do more with the travel of the organization than it does about the personnel. Portland 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games at home, but they have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Portland right now coming in off of losses to Chicago and San Antonio. Remember that blowout loss. They also lost recently to Oklahoma City and the Lakers. Phillies lost 2 straight before the Denver game. They lost to Indiana. All right, your last chance to make an NBA pick here. Portland +10. And Jeff Schramm likes Portland. With no Embiid, but that is not going to be the case. He's not even on the injured list tonight. Again, he is on the injured list, but I don't expect it to be a factor. I believe he missed the last. It is listed as a knee injury, so let's give Jeff at least a little bit. But I think, Jeff, when you see the line having moved from 9 to 10, I think the writing's on the wall. Now, Maxey, that's more interesting, right? Because maybe the word is that he'll be in as well because, like I said, a 9 to 10 is a pretty significant, move when you're a road favorite. I mean, to have those 2 guys out, that'd be 60 points. That would immediately make the Sixers, if both these guys are out, and you can bet this game right now. So if anything, maybe there's value on Portland, actually. Tobias Harris, questionable. Kenny Lofton Jr. out. Bob Cove is out. We know Melton is still out. Sharp is questionable for the Blazers, but big-time injuries here, for Philly. It's just a matter of will those guys be in or not. So give me the under in this one. Feels like a premium, but I can't wait, and then maybe necessarily for these guys to be either in or out. I don't know. I'll take the under as my play. Mike's on the over. As soon as I said it, he was typing in over. Rays on Portland. All right. I guess no challenges here today. Can't improve my record if I can't get a challenge. All right. I'll brag about my 33%. Okay, that's going to do it for the NBA. That long NBA. Thanks a lot. You guys got a few more games to go here, and show's not over. But if you were here just for those NBA picks, thank you. Let's get to college ball now with the first game up in the big ACC matchup here with Duke on the road against Virginia Tech. Maybe Duke is starting to feel it a little bit, play a little bit better. Feels like here coming into this one, Duke on road favorite right now, 3.5, total 145.5 for the most part between these 2 tonight. Sharp's apparently all over the under in this one. I don't know if I trust him here. You really want to go under here? I guess I get it. Pardon me. Pardon me. Ate pretty good last night. I'm not dying. Not dying yet. We ate pretty good, though, during that football game. Maybe I'm starting to feel that a little bit. It's only been 12 hours, 15 hours. Okay, let's go. Let me get into it with Duke and Virginia Tech here. Duke's still a top 20, top 15, I guess, at this point. Still for the Blue Devils. They're not covering any numbers recently, but they have won 10 of their last 11 games currently. They've won 14 of the last 20 meetings with Tech, but this is always a tough spot for the Dukies coming in to Virginia Tech to Blacksburg because they've covered just one of their last 7 meetings here. Now, maybe they're favored by a little bit more than this to a certain extent. Virginia Tech comes in with a 13-7 record. Duke is 15-4 overall. Take a look at the ACC standings right now with Duke. Well back at this point, 2.5 games back of awesome North Carolina here at this point. North Carolina 9-0 in the ACC, getting away from the pack here. No doubt about it for Davis and Baycott. Man, they look good at this point. But Duke, they have wins here over Clemson and Louisville. They beat Clemson on Saturday, 72-71, and that they brought their own referees in. Clemson was chasing the referees out the door, or I would too. Duke got the win. Duke's failed to cover in 4 straight games. Virginia Tech, they're on a 3-game winning streak right now. In fact, they can kind of sniff, some tournament here right now at 5-4 in conference, having won 3 straight, beating Georgia Tech and Boston College. They also beat NC State on the road to get things going here. Well, a nice job here by Virginia Tech currently. I mean, they got, Padula, they've got kids, so pretty good the way things are going right now for these guys. I think they're playing pretty well. Not a lot of trends to support me if I go under because, like I said, to me, the Sharps, they look to be on the under here. I don't know if I trust them. Duke's gone under in 10 of their last 14 on the road, but 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone over. So Virginia Tech plays well at home. I'll take the over in this one. Kind of fading the Sharps here a little bit. Sharps have pushed this one down from as high. It opened up as high as 147 down to 146. So not a huge move here at this point, I guess. Maybe the Sharps aren't so sharp after all. I'll take. Oops. We're not going back to that game. Hey, I just want to mention right now a little bit of note here on our NBA coverage from earlier. Let me tune this out. But the New York Knicks are taking steam right now. We did give them out earlier against the Hornets, but they are getting action here. I'm showing the Knicks are up to a 9-point favorite now against the Hornets here tonight. All right. A couple more games here. Okay, now we got that big. Hey, Dave, nice to see you. Campbell, he did do a heck of a job. He whipped those guys into shape, got them all good, made the Lions the best they've been in all these years. And then when the time came to make a decision, he made the wrong one, Dave, and he went for it instead of kicking a field goal. It's a playoff game. It's not week 2. You can't have your little nerd guy telling you things about what to do. You got to play it for the playoffs. You're playing for one win. All right. Jeff said he'll take Duke. Tom says, injuries in this one, you got to consider when you got, who is it? Let me see. It must be. You got me. Okay, I got you, Mekhi Long here. Definitely gets some minutes here. And that's who you're talking about, I would assume. See Long on the injured list. Definitely pretty good rebounder, Long. But now, how many games is that? Long's missed a couple of games, right? I mean, this isn't his first game he's missed. He's missed the last 2 games. So, all right. Yeah, gonna definitely want that rebounder in there. Christian Reeves questionable for Duke, also a big man. All right. And next up, what do we got? Okay, it's the big one here that I talked about. Again, I just looking through, trying to find a decent game to talk about these added games. We could go longer, but let's keep it as short. We're already on an hour and 40 minutes. So let's take a look at this one between Central and Delaware State, because this is the big game right now, at least for the first half of the season, when we got a little bit of ways to go in some of these conferences, but certainly in the MEAC right now, the two of the top three teams at 3-1 currently, with Central and Delaware State. You certainly got Martez Robinson of Delaware State and good old Fred Cleveland of North Carolina Central. Going at it here in a closely rated game. Central, a 1-point favorite now, 135.5. Let's go ahead and update that. I think Central's a 1-point favorite now, and let's make them the favorite on the graphic. Central 1, there we go, 135.5. Producer, host, chat room moderator. All right. I know where I'm heading in this one. I'm pretty sure it feels like a premium to me, but I want to go over here with these two. Look, the Sharps are clearly on Delaware State. I'm not ready to get with them just yet because of the move we're seeing. It looks kind of casual, actually, on Central. I don't think it would be a public move at, 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time at this point. So maybe a little bit. I'll have to wait and see here with this one, but we can tell you in this, pretty good matchup, at least in this conference. North Carolina Central's been doing pretty well of late, having covered 6 of their last 7 games. They've won 7 of their last 8 overall. They've won 8 straight meetings against Delaware State, gone 6-2 in those games. They're usually favored against Delaware State. Central comes in with an 11-8 record. Delaware State, meanwhile, comes in with a 10-10 mark. This has been kind of a big deal for Delaware State at this point. They have been absolutely terrible here for several years, but ever since Waterman came in. Now last year they had just 6 wins all season, but in 22 they had 2 wins. In 21 they had 3 wins. It's just been bad, and now they have 10 wins here, including 3 straight conference wins, and they also have some other wins this season, some non-conference games. Now, not going to tell you, they against any they beat their like ilk, if you will. They beat Bethune. They beat Grambling. They beat Chicago State. That's a pretty good win. They beat Loyola Maryland in overtime. That was a pretty good win. In fact, they played 4 overtimes this year, has Delaware State. So Sharps are clearly supposed to be on Delaware State. I think they are on Delaware State, but the move has been to Central. Maybe it's that series history a little bit. Central kind of owning this series, but give me the over here tonight with Central and Delaware State. I don't think the two teams necessarily trend that much to the over, but I did see kind of a little sharp move here. You have Central just now they are favored. They're 1-5 to the under as a favorite. They've gone, as I said, under in 4 of their last 5 on the road. Delaware State under in 5 of their last 6 games overall. 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams under. Delaware State 4 of their last 5 at home under. I'm going over in this one. Based on the personality of these two teams are playing a lot better, especially Delaware State, showing a little bit of offense here. And, I'm going to take the under here. Over. Get it right. All right. Well, one more in college. Oh, anything here for you guys? Let's see what else. Perky, he's got Boston U in that first game against Holy Cross. He says take the money line. They're favored like 4 or 5 here. And LeBron, Dave talking about that game with LeBron the other night, the double OT game. Yeah, we did definitely talked about it. All right. And let's see. I think that's it for this game. All right. I'm on the over. And Jerry Norris, what is Jerry Norris? South Carolina and Maryland. What is that, a women's game? Oh, he means South Carolina State and Maryland Eastern Shore. And Jeff Schramm says Houston. It's coming up, Jeff. I got it. I got you. Let's go to that one next, and then we'll come back. Houston and Texas here for Jeff and anybody else who wants to listen. Houston's been pretty good, decent spread team, right? I think, and well, for Texas, maybe not so much right now coming into this one. Houston, man, they really are getting things kind of ramped up, it feels like, right now with Houston. Look, they feel like the team that's always going to choke right now. Again, with college basketball, who knows what's going to happen again? You don't have, I mentioned Carolina, they're looking really good. They're looking good here, but Houston, maybe they're starting to, maybe it won't be some, just the way they play the game, right? Because of the offense, this is where they get burned sometimes. Not in games like this necessarily. Houston's won 18 of their last 20, 13 of their last 15 on the road. They've covered the spread in 4 of the last 16 meetings against Texas. Houston's gone under in 14 of their last 20, but Texas has gone over in 6 of their last 7. Texas has won 18 of their last 20 games at home, but they've gone just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. Houston has won 4 straight, covered 3 of those. They covered against K-State. They covered against BYU on the road. They covered against Texas Tech at home. Now, they did fail against UCF as a 17.5-point favorite. Now, that sounds like, laying too many points. When you only scored 57 points, they still almost covered. But remember, when you're Houston laying big points, it's hard to cover a big number when you're scoring less than 60. You got to hold your opponent to, the low 40s. All right. Let's see what you got. Anything with you? Here's under for Dave. Houston. Jeff says this one is getting steamed a little bit here. Let me get the latest number on this one. It says getting steamed down. Does he mean the total here, maybe? Right now I'm showing 5 and 130. So it must mean not the total, unless I'm a little bit behind. I'm going to update it to 130 though, it feels like. Oops. So I'm going to call it Houston 5 and 130. Is that what you meant, Jeff? I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to. You might be looking at a live book, and I'm looking at an odd screen. But it did get up to one. It's 130.5 at DraftKings, 130 at BetOnline, 129.5 at Circa. So Perky says this is a no-brainer. Does feel like a better spot for Houston, even to me. We'll say, though, Houston 2-5 against the spread on the road, but it's Texas that can't cover anything right now. For their 14-6 record, they're 6-14 against the spread, 4-10 against the spread at home. But often that's when they're laying points. As a dog, maybe a little bit of a different story, but Texas just 2-3 as an underdog against the spread. Houston against the spread as a favorite, 11-8-1. But again, 2-5 on the road. They've been favored in every game this season, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe one game they weren't, or maybe one game was a push. Let me see. Trying to recall. Let's see here. Well, let's just call it as it is. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with this game and see what you guys got. I'm about done with college. We'll get back to that one college basketball game. Yeah, as you guys asked about. Try to give a pick. Actually started to heat up here on our request picks a little bit finally. Right? All right. Hey, I've got this one as kind of a tough one too. Houston, they don't seem to get the numbers on the road. Texas has been bad, it feels like, at home, but they're always laying the numbers. So Houston's been great. Man, this one's tough. Why did I have to pick this for my late retirement profession? I don't want to call it that. I'm only in my 50s. But Texas just so bad at home, but that's usually when they're laying points. I'm taking them. I'm taking Texas plus the points. Look, it's still going to be a low-scoring game, I would think, even at 128, 130. You're looking at somewhere. It's supposed to be in the range of what, 67, 64? 67, 67, 63. 67, 63 would be right there right now. Will it be 67, 63? All right. Well, these two, believe it or not, they don't meet. I don't think they've met recently, despite their proximity. And one more here from you. Jeff likes the under. All right, you guys. I'm going against Perky. Oh, no. Ooh. Okay, what was that other one? South Carolina. Said Jerry, what are you talking? I know what he means. South Carolina State, Maryland Eastern Shore. Dre, you still out there? Wine time, hello, nice to have you, sir. Hey, we got a game for wine time here. Wine time special. Let's see if we can get a pick out of them. South Carolina State and Maryland Eastern Shore. We're getting desperate today, brother. Getting desperate with our picks just because of the matchups. So, all right. Look, I know one thing. The Sharps are all over the over in the Maryland Eastern Shore game. I probably can't disagree with them. Where's my comment to at least have the teams up there? There it is, Jerry. All right. Look, they've been crushing the over in this one. I kind of want the over. Maybe it's gone a little bit too high, but I'm still going to take the over with South Carolina State and Maryland Eastern Shore. It's up to 140. What is it, 144 right now? This is one, if I would have taken it, should have taken it last night. 144.5 now at stations. This one continues to rise. It may be going a little bit too high, but I only think it's only going to challenge the over here. I don't think we're going to be stuck on 130 or anything. It might end up 138 or 139, which would be over the original total. Going to have to recommend the over here in this one with South Carolina State on the road against Maryland Eastern Shore. See if I had any, maybe just a little bit more on this one. Just to get it off our here. South Carolina State, they've won 2 in a row. They beat Delaware State. They beat Central. They are 11-6-1 against the spread. Are the Bulldogs right now also 7-4-1 against the spread on the road. They have lost 13 of their last 16 games overall. So this is about as hot as it gets right now for South Carolina State. Good job. Maryland Eastern Shore, they're 1-4 currently in their last 5 games. They've lost 4 straight to Central, to Delaware State, teams that South Carolina State just beat. So Eastern Shore 1-5 against the spread. Their last 6 games at home, they've gone under in 7 of their last 8. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but I think I'm already on the over. I think I already did it. And Dave says he likes South Carolina State to go over. He looks like he agrees with me. Definitely fading those trends a little bit in this one. Perky says, take Jackson State today. They're free money. Dang. Could always use some free money. Where? They're playing A&M. Okay. All right. I've got one on the ice, and I'm solid on it. Maybe I'll just make the pick and get out of here. Talk a little bit about it for a minute or two here with our game tonight between the Preds and the Senators. In this one, you've got Senators are favored here, about $1.15 or so. Look, the heavy move came in on the over in this one early. They were pushing. There's been a little bit of pullback here on the under in this one, but man, I still think I'm going to prefer the over here tonight. Give me the over 6.5. We're not going to talk too long about this one. Not a great game, certainly. Predators here, a little bit tough. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of a tough game, certainly, with the Senators. Senators have been struggling. Certainly, I think it's safe to say right now. And Predators have had certainly their issues too, and then all of a sudden they get it back together and go on a little bit of a streak. But they've lost 3 of their last 4. Ottawa's lost 2 straight to the Rangers and Boston. Not terrible. They beat Montreal. They beat Philadelphia. All right, you guys. Just give me the over tonight in the NHL game. That's going to do it. Thank you for joining me here on the Morning Steam. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate everybody in the chat as well. I'm going to take off and get out of here. We're back tomorrow with a big show on Tuesday with college, with NBA, NHL, college basketball, the usual suspects. Hopefully you'll join me as well and make some picks with me. My All-Star Chat, our All-Star Chat here on the Morning Steam. Catch you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Salty. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Justin and Perky and Salty and everybody and Jerry. Thanks to everybody. I'm not going to go through today. Let's just call it a show. Thanks, everybody. Catch you tomorrow, more Morning Steam, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Don't forget Tony and the Pick Dogs crew. Hope everybody saw, we were on the air yesterday. I went back and watched Tony on the show with those guys. That was awesome over there on the channel, over on the other channel, but right here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the drive-thru, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Tony and the Pick Dogs crew, get you ready for the primetime games tonight. For Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott. So long.